morning everyone and welcome to this small vlog. Spring is finally here. Now it's for real this time. The weather has just been gorgeous the last few days. It is still very cold at night, it still freezes at night, but during the day it's like the sun is out and it's like almost 10 degrees. But let's go outside so I can show you what a wonderful weather it is. Even though it has been for like a whole week now, or even a little bit more, it has been kind of warm and a lot of sun, but there is still snow everywhere. Look. Like, can you see over there and over there? So can you imagine how thick the snow has been if it's still melting? And also, let me zoom in a little bit. Can you see the first baby leaves on the trees? Look what a beautiful day we have here. The start of spring has given me such an energy rush. I didn't feel particularly low in energy during the winter, but now that the spring is here, I can really feel this fresh energy. It's like I want to run all the time. I feel like running all the time. Now that the snow has melted, the water of the river is running like very loudly again. There is a big river running in the forest behind our house. And so when we're inside or outside or in the garden, we constantly hear the water of the flowing river. And also there's so many birds now. We're constantly surrounded by thousands and thousands of birds. It's so loud. It's such a wonderful sound. It's not only the sounds that have changed now in springtime. It's also the smell. Like, you can just smell the difference because it still kind of looked like it did in autumn. So like it did like in November. So the trees are still like completely empty and it looks a bit, now that the snow is away, it looks a bit brown. The mountains look a bit brown still. But the smell is so different. I can't describe it, you smell this green, juicy. It's just like you can smell the trees, like the juice. You can smell the juice of the trees like running in the branches. I can't explain it better than that. But also the pine trees. Now that the snow is melting again, and you can smell that the pine trees are giving their scent off. It's like every day I have to remind myself, like, okay, I live here. I actually live here. I get to experience this tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. I can't believe sometimes how did I end up here again? How did we end up here? Because we actually live here now. It's an amazing feeling. Because a lot of people, especially our family and friends, have been asking for an update on our renovations. I will give you a tour of the house again today. And I will be showing you what we have done so far, because I have collected a lot of footage so far about the renovations. We're still in the breaking down phase, but we have some new stuff already. So we're definitely making progress. But it all feels like it's going very fast and very slow at the same time. But let's go and I will give you a little tour inside of our house. I will start the house tour here outside because we have a new chimney. There used to be an old brick chimney. And it was a whole mess to break it down, but we had some help, because Kun couldn't do it all by himself, obviously. Getting the chimney down was very difficult, also inside, and I will show you in just a bit. Let's go. So, we are now in the hallway, and we had an old bathroom just here, and we took it out. That was the first thing we took out completely. So now there is a big empty space here. So, let's go upstairs. Upstairs, nothing much has changed, aside from our new chimney. We also broke out the wall here, because we had to, the whole brick wall was attached to the wood, so we had to take this wall down as well. But taking the brick chimney down actually started here upstairs under the roof. I'm really happy with the result. We have a lot more space here than we had before. I've also done a lot of effort in getting the floor free. There was a lot of plastic on the floor everywhere, so it was a very difficult job actually. But let's go to the living room, because the most has changed over there. Look at this. As you can see, we have opened up the space between the living and the kitchen, because this was a closed wall, and we have put a carrying beam over here, a wooden beam. And also we have, of course, a new fireplace. But the parts in the living room, taking down this wall, taking the old fireplaces out, building the new one, and of course taking down the brick chimney, was a very big job. But I'm really happy with the result this far. I love this wooden beam. It's going to stay visible afterwards. I love it. And then when we finish the fireplace, we're going to finish it off with like a layer of natural stone. So it's going to look amazing. And then now we're going to go to the basement. So, lots of breaking down here as well. These were two little rooms that have been taken down completely. The only thing that has to be done now is taking out these, but Koen is pretty sure he can just remove them without placing a carrying beam, because These do not carry any weight. Then we go. Here we have been working a lot. So this whole room is almost stripped apart from the ceiling. That's what we're going to do tomorrow, I think. But look at this. Here was the old stone fireplace. This was the biggest job to get it out. And we had so much help from the neighbors with this part. At some point, I think there were 5 or 6 neighbors here. It was amazing how helpful they were. Also in cleaning everything up, because of course all these bricks were outside and they had to be taken away. So we had another neighbor coming here with a tractor to help us out. And at some point there was even cake and coffee, and it was so sweet. So sweet of them. Actually, maybe I quickly want to talk about the neighbors, just for a moment, because what I've noticed inside myself and also in others who are, like kind of wanting to take the same journey as I am taking, is that at first I was like, okay, I want to go to a place and I want to have no neighbors. Like, I want to go to a place and my only neighbor can be nature. I want to see no houses around me, I want to see no roads, I want to have no neighbors, I want just me, myself and I and the nature. But let me tell you, I am so glad we actually have neighbors, because my first reflex when we bought this house is like, oh, okay, I know we're in the countryside and like the little village we're in, we're already like living in a little group of house outside of the village, and the whole village is like only 300 inhabitants. But still, I was like, oh, there's still quite a few houses around us. Like I can like count like 6-7 houses in our like little patch of houses, and maybe I would love to have just me and the forest. But I'm so glad you have neighbors, because the thing is, if you have a little bit of okay, here comes the part I can't explain again. I'm really bad at explaining stuff in front of a camera. But if you have a little bit of it's maybe a heavy word to use, but like a damaged relationship with people, a damaged relationship with like, not with crowds, but like with just like people in general, and you often feel like overwhelmed and uncomfortable and like it's like you want to just run away from people and be with yourself for once in a while, but you can't heal, you can't rehabilitate, or you can't heal your relationship you have with people in general when you just avoid people. Do you get what I mean? So just having this close community around me now, where everybody knows everybody and you get support when you want it, and there is like, here in Norway, it's not a place and time to talk a lot about this, but you have a big sense of community here, and it has been healing for me to have these people around me. It's like just enough contact and just enough space for me to find my way into like finding a good place and finding a comfortable place around people. This sounds way more dramatic than it actually feels for me. So don't take my words too heavy, please. It's just what I want to say is, if you're also looking at moving away and you want to have more space, like, don't be too quick in deciding you don't want any neighbors. Because you can't heal your relationship with people if you just avoid people in general. That goes with all your fears. If you're afraid of heights, because like myself, I am afraid of heights. You can't heal your fear of heights if you just never come into contact with heights again. I even dare to tell you, it will get worse and worse and worse and worse if you don't try to heal this relationship or like have regular contact with heights. That's what I quickly wanted to say. But good morning. So this is my usual weekend outfit, and even sometimes on the week evenings. Look. Let's get going for today. So you have no idea how many times I have filled this van with rubbish. Koen is usually in the breaking down department as I am in the cleaning department because the amount of times that I have filled up this thing, I can't count anymore. And we will fill it up many times more before we're done with taking everything down. It has to go from the house. And then to think we originally bought this van to transform into like a camper van. We were going to build like a very cozy camper van. We even bought like a battery and a sink. By the way, the sink we bought to use in our van, we're actually using in the kitchen now. So it's not completely out of use, but we actually bought a lot of stuff to build this van. And now we're just using it as like a renovation truck. So this is the result of the work today. It's a really big mess with all the old insulation we got out from the ceiling here in the basement. And we got a really nice surprise because the ceiling, the old wooden beams, they look really nice. We were thinking it would look the same as it did upstairs in the living room where it doesn't look so nice, the ceiling. But here it's like the wood in between looks super nice and the beams itself look really nice. So now we're thinking of also keeping this old part of the house and just freshen up the beams a little bit and then paint the in-between woods. We'll paint it white so we have some aspect of the house we can keep in our future done place. So I'm really happy that we found another element of the house that we can keep as it is, as to have more memories of how old this house actually is. Also, as you can see, the old insulation, it's a good thing we are getting it all out because, like upstairs, if you can see here, do you see all the black little dots? Well, that's from all the mice. So actually this house was so full of mice, it's unbelievable. There are more mice and remnants of mice here in the insulation, but there's actually insulation left at some places. It looks horrible. So now it is my job to clean up this mess. Yay! Also, I'm going to wear a mask for this because once you get the old insulation moving, a lot of like dusts come free and it makes you feel really itchy in your throat and like on your skin. It's really unhealthy stuff, guys. So I'm going to wear this. I'm going to wear some gloves as well, and then we're going to have fun for a while. Been obsessed with the water lately. The way that the river runs, the way that the ocean goes in waves, the way that the water just glimmers with sunlight and how it mirrors and reflects everything. I really feel like I would love to just flow with the water. It makes me want to run with it. Like I want to flow together with it. I want to move together with it. I want to dance with the water. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it moves. I love the way how it expresses itself in all these different ways. It reminds me of how part of me is like water, and how I love to let it come forward inside of me now during springtime. It makes me so happy because water, no matter how much resistance it gets, it just keeps going. Nothing can hold the water. I'm absolutely loving it. So that has been our life lately. Breaking down, planning our renovations. Time has gone so fast and so slow at the same time. The winter didn't take as long as I thought it would. Although we had snow until the end of April, it has been a really cold winter. If I can believe my neighbors, it has even been a bit unusual in terms of how cold it was, how many snow there was, and how long it took for spring to finally arrive. Because we were busy with so many stuff, it didn't feel like such a long time. And I can't believe it's already May. It's unbelievably how fast it has gone this far. But I would be lying if I told you that everything is going really fast and smooth, because if you're doing renovations, there's a whole emotional aspect that comes into it as well. And I'm a huge believer that basically our whole life is just a really big metaphor to what is going on the inside. So when we took out our old chimney, so the chimney that runs all the way from the basement, big stone chimney, all the way through the heart of our house, because it was in the center of the house, it was this big solid thing. We were basically taking the heart out of our house. It felt like we were just like taking the heart out and replacing it with something else. And at the same time, I was doing a lot of internal work with the heart. And maybe you know, if you have been working with the heart, it can be a really intense something, because when you choose to open the heart, there is a lot that can come out. And so when we were really in the midst of like physically breaking down the heart of our house, it was around Easter, I actually felt really like sad and a bit restless for a period of 2 weeks. And this metaphor, for me, it wasn't really like, oh, this is fun, this is like a really external reflection of what's going on internally. It also felt so heavy. It was such a heavy realization. It's a bit weird when I talk about this, but it felt like a really heavy realization, like, oh, like we're doing really serious work with the heart here. I wish I could film all aspects of my life, but obviously the only time I feel like filming is when I'm feeling really joyful. But you have to know that when I started, or when my husband and I, when we started this whole searching journey, which actually started many years ago, we then decided that, okay, we're going to look, but that also means that you have to look inside yourself. And then you go on this internal journey, and there are so many waves and ripples and reflections, and that's why coming out of these hard works, like the really taking the core out of our house and coming into spring and seeing all this water come alive around me, it's such a big metaphor. It's really difficult to really explain what's going on in my head, but I just wanted to mention this. And whether it is small things or big things, every time something changes outside, it is an opportunity for you to look inside, and the other way around as well. If you're not really sure how to deal with certain stuff, like, just look for metaphors in your life around you, and it can help you find clues, like what you are going through. Moving to a new country and renovating a house and going through these big life changes and trying to answer these big searching questions. It has been an intense journey, but I wouldn't want it any other way. Even though it comes with so many feelings and so many intense periods, it is so changing, it's so transforming. It's like, while we are transforming our house, I am also transforming. While my whole surrounding is transforming and merging into something new, it is a really intense period of really going inside and accepting what is there, because for something to change, you first have to accept what is there. It sounds so contradictory, but you first have to allow it to be before you can allow it to change, if any of this makes sense for you. So going into spring, it feels a bit more light, it feels like there is a bit more flow, but it wouldn't be this way if it weren't for this more heavy period. So yeah, I just really wanted to mention this. So I am out looking for deers. There are so many deers in the forest behind our house. And this time of the year is actually quite a good time because dusk is a very convenient hour. So in the evening it's around 10 o'clock and in the morning it's about like 6, 7. So it's a very convenient time. The snow is away, so you can be quite silent, stepping on the moss again. But it's very difficult to get good footage of them, because they are way better in spotting me than I am in spotting them. So by the time I have my camera, they're just like running away. But it's so much fun. It is so special to get so close to these animals. It's amazing.